We continue now at the top of Daf Mem Aleph Amud Aleph in Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 41a. The Gemara now asks, Stam Amai, what would be if it would be Stam? Now this is referring to the case we had on the previous summit. The Gemara said in the previous summit that a matanta tamirta, a hidden gift, is not considered to be a gift. And we had two versions in the previous summit in terms of what's considered to be a hidden gift and what's not a hidden gift. And in one version, if it was Stam, if the person just gave the gift but didn't specifically do it publicly, that's considered hidden. In the other one, no, it has to be specifically hidden. The person has to say, I want you to do this, and it should not be public, otherwise it's not considered hidden. So the question of the Gemara really is, what do we paskin? The Rashbam here explains, Stama Mai Mishum Detrei Lishni Amar Rav Yosef Le'el, because we had two versions in Rav Yosef before. Ve'ika Beinayu Stamin, the difference between the two versions was, what if a person gives a gift and doesn't specifically say that it should be done in private, but doesn't say publicly either? Chad Pasal v'chad Machshir, in that case you had one who said it's disqualified, it's considered a matanta tamirta, hidden gift, and the other one v'chad Machshir, the other one said it's considered kosher. Hilkach kaboy hacha, that's why over here we have a question on my samchin, on which of the two versions do we rely on? I amar lehen stomach sovo, if he says to give the gift stam, he doesn't say anything specific about public or not. V'lo amar lahu teisvu b'shuku v'vriyasi, he doesn't say do it out in the marketplace in public. V'lo amar lahu nami itzmaru, but he doesn't also say that you should hide yourselves, you should keep it private. Mihave matanta tamirta olo, is that considered to be a hidden gift or not? And the Gemara says, Ravina amar lo chayshinan, Ravina says we're not concerned with it, meaning to say it's a kosher gift, it's not considered a matana tamirta. Rav Ashi amar chayshinan, Rav Ashi says that we are concerned that it's a matanta tamirta, that it's a hidden gift, and it's no good, it's not a gift according to Rav Ashi. V'hilchas chayshinan, and the halach is that we are chayshinan, meaning we are concerned, and we say it is considered to be a matana tamirta. And the Rashbam says, Lo chayshinan again means we're not concerned. The eino tamirta, it's not tamirta. El kshera, rather it's kshera. That's according to Ravina. Rav Ashi says chayshinan l'tamirta, we are concerned. V'lo magvinan ba, and therefore you cannot collect with it. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Kol chazaka she'eni motayna, any chazaka which doesn't have a claim together with it, eina chazaka, that's not considered to be a chazaka. Keitzad, how so? Amar lo, if he says to him, Mata osa besoch shali, what are you doing in my property? V'hu amar lo, and he says back to him, Nobody ever said anything to me about it. There's nothing I'm doing wrong. Ein a chazaka, that's not considered a chazaka because he's not making any claim of why he should be on the property. However, if he says, Shamachartali, he says, you sold it to me, Shanasatali, or you gave it to me b'matan as a gift, or Avicha machrali, your father sold it to me, Avicha nasnali b'matan, or your father gave it to me as a gift, Harezu chazaka, then that is a good chazaka because he's making a claim as well. V'habami shum yerushin, if the person is saying that he inherited it, Eino tzarech taina, so there he does not need any further claim. And the Rashbam explains, Kol chazaka she'eni motayna eina chazaka, any chazaka without a claim is not a chazaka. The Rashbam says, Bein v'chezkas gimel shanim de karkos, this is true whether we're talking about the 3-year chazaka by land, ubat and vilanos, and by houses and by trees, and Bein v'chezkas yom echad would also be true in situations where you make a chazaka in one day. Kagon hanach da'amrin and le'el, we have cases earlier, achzik lehordi v'chulu, Mayri, we're talking about that as well. V'kamar de tzarech liton me'eza koach hechzik ba, and we're saying you have to make a claim why you're making this chazaka, why your chazaka should entitle you. Therefore, once you make a claim saying that you're here lawfully, and then because of that, you've been on here long enough to establish whatever chazaka the Chachamim said to establish, and the other person, the previous owner, was quiet, and protest, have a chazaka, that's a chazaka. The person who's protesting can't say that you're really here without permission. Because if it was without permission, why do you let him stay there for the amount of time needed to make that chazaka? If he says nobody said anything to me, that's not a chazaka. The Gemara is going to ask, that's obvious that that's not a chazaka. Now, if he comes mishum yerusha, if he comes out of an inheritance, he says, I'm on this property, and my father, he was muchzik, he was in possession on the day he died. If he says that much, he doesn't need any further claim. If he doesn't have to say how it got to his father, if a person is not an expert what's going on with the lands of his father, how his father got it. Nevertheless, he does need to have evidence with witnesses that the witnesses saw his father there at least one day, and this will be explained in the Gemara. And we will note over here that when the Rashbam refers to the Chezkas Yom Echad from the first parak, Achzik Lahordi V'chulu, that's referring to the chazaka that a person might make in terms of using his neighbor's wall in a particular way. That's another kind of a chazaka. And again, that chazaka as well, according to the Rashbam, requires a taina, it requires a claim. And the Gemara says, Pshita, isn't it obvious that if a person has a chazaka but does not have a claim, that is not going to be a good chazaka? And the Gemara answers, Ma'u Detema, what might you have said? Hai Gavra Mizvan Zovna Le. This person really did buy this property. Hai Ara, he bought this land. Ushtara Havale V'yirkas, and he had a document and he lost it. V'hai Dekamar Hachi, and the reason why he's saying this, meaning the reason why he's not making a claim, he's just saying that I've been on here a certain amount of years. Savar, it's because he thinks to himself, Iamina Mizvan Zovna Li Hai Ara. If I say that this person sold me the land, Amri Li, they're going to say to me, Achvi Shtarach, you have to show your star. You have to show your document. Hilkach leim malei anon. So therefore, if that's what this person is thinking, maybe we should say to him, Dil mashtara havalach ve'irchas. Maybe you have a star and you lost it. In other words, maybe we should help him to formulate his claim. Kagon zep sach picha le'ilem, who this would be an example of opening the mouth for a mute. In other words, this person doesn't really know what to claim, and maybe you would think we should help him out. Kamash malan, that's what the Mishnah is teaching. You cannot have a chazaka without a claim. It's the responsibility of the person who has the chazaka to make the claim as well. And the Gemara continues, Ravanan shakal bidka bi'ari. Ravanan, there was water that swept through his land, and it knocked down the wall that was separating the property. Azal hadar guda bi'ari dechavri. When he went and rebuilt the wall, he accidentally built it in the property of his neighbor. Azal akamid Rav Nachman, he came before Rav Nachman. Amar lei said to him, Zil hadar. He said, you have to rebuild it in the proper place. He said back, V'achzikili. He said back, but don't I have a chazaka over here? I made a chazaka by already establishing it in this place. It's now my land. Amar Lei said back to him, Keman, who are you following? Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yishmael. Are you following Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yishmael in your logic? The Amri that they say, Kol befonov, la'alter have a chazaka. Anything you do right in front of the person immediately becomes a chazaka. That's what you're trying to say here. Les hilchas hakavasai. The halacha is not like them. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yishmael. Amar Lei said to him, V'achil, but then this person, wasn't he mochel? Didn't he forgive? He allowed me to do this. The asav asaya begud ba'adai. He actually came and helped me build the wall. So that shows that he's fine with it. He's giving me the property. Amar Lei said back to him, Mechila betosi. That's a mistaken mechila. He wasn't doing that on purpose. He didn't realize what he was doing. Ad gufach, even you yourself, you have a yadat. If you knew that it wasn't your property, lo avadet, you wouldn't have built the wall there. Ki hechi da'at lo have a yadat, just like you didn't know. Hunami lo have a yadat, he didn't know as well. You can't say that is a mechila. And the Gemara continues, Rav Kahana shakal bidka bi'are. Rav Kahana also, water swept through his land, knocked down a wall. Azal hadar guda bi'ara delo didei. He went and rebuilt the wall in land that was not his. And the Rashbam explains, V'achziki, again, he made a claim that by building the wall and by him allowing it, isn't that a chazaka? Shabonisi kosel al pivu v'tzav, also, I built this wall, it was through his instructions. Kedamar l'kameh, like we're going to say later on, Dosav esaya beguda bahadoi, he came and helped me build the wall. Uchaman damar li chazik ukni dami, it's almost like he's saying, make a chazaka and acquire, it's like he's telling me I can. V'kevon shal piv asisi, since I did it with his instruction, v'gam hechzakti yom o yomayim, and I was there a couple days, shayakosel shali b'karka shalo, that my wall was in his property. He knew and he didn't protest. He was quiet. That's a full chazaka with a claim. The other one's claiming, I never gave it over to him, and he did not have it enough years of a chazaka. So this is the claim that he wanted to make. And so Rav Nachman replied to Rav Anan, Amar Le, he said to him, Kaman, who are you following and making this claim? This claim of yours, that you're making a chazaka, that in one day it's a chazaka, in a case where the person who should have protested knew about it and did not protest, even within one day. So you're trying to follow Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yehuda de Masnisin, that's Rabbi Yehuda of our Mishnah, the Tali Tam, the Gimel Shanim, Kadesh Baspam Yashana V'chulu. He said the reason for 3 years by chazaka is in order, let's say he's very far away, so it'll be enough time for the word to reach him and he can come back. So that sounds like Hoim Karov, Besoch Malach Yom, let's say he's very close, he's a day away, Sheyucha Leida Miyad, that he knows right away, Kashiyad V'lo Yimcha Tiyah Chazaka. Rabbi Yehuda is implying that if he knows and doesn't protest, it's an immediate chazaka. It seems like you're following that. Uch Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yossi Nami, and also it seems like you're following Rabbi Yishmael. B'Shili Pirkin, at the end of our parak, Taner Rabban, Ma'isa Badam Echad, Shepasach Alonosav L'Chatzar Ashutvin, Bolefnei Rabbi Yishmael. There was a case case. He opened his windows into a chutzner of partners and came before Rabbi Shmuel with the case. Amar le'echzakt, he said, you made a chazaka, mishum desfir le'befanav li'alter, have a chazaka, because he holds that if it's in front of him, it's an immediate chazaka. But ain't halacha, but that's not the halacha, ela k'rabbanan, rather the halacha is like the rabbanan, the amri, the chol davar chazaka, gimel shana miyom liyom ba'inan, that when it comes to chazaka, you need to have 3 full years, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis.